Hey guys, welcome back. I'm just going to run through our watch list players for Friday, August 4th. So we had SPY, SMCI calls, QQQ, Tesla, Microsoft, KWEB calls, Meta, Carvana calls, and TUP puts. I'm just going to run right down the line, guys. So SPY calls over 451, puts under 448.25. So we triggered here. It looks like we had a candle close. Let's see, that's really close, but it did close over 451.50. Entry would be then here on this candle, and you probably ended up stopping out here on this candle. No worries though, because up here we entered here on this. We broke here on this candle, entered on this candle, and we rode this up for nice gains. Not only that, but we got to play the downside too. So puts under 448.25. So we broke on this candle, entered on this candle, and we rode these puts down for good money. SMCI calls over 326. So on this one, we also stopped out at open. I hate these big green candles at open, or big one-way candles, I should say, at open. You broke here, you entered here, and you stopped out here. No worries, though, because you jumped right back into play when we rebroke, entered here, and rode these up for monster gains. And then if you used a trail and stop, you stopped out somewhere around here. So SMCI, I ended up being a big win today, and a paper cut loss as well. QQQ, same deal in the morning. Always watch before 9:45 in the morning. The plays are always tough. So you had entry here, or you broke here at calls over 377. Now here, actually, this is something I want you guys to pay attention with. And I'm actually going to split these videos up just so I can point out exactly what to pay attention to. So here's QQQ, right? My battery's dying. So we broke here, right? But what is this candle telling us? You're already pushing down, right? Do you just blindly jump in here? No, absolutely not. This is a huge red candle. And if you do happen to jump the gun, just stop right out. As soon as it comes down, you should be ready for something like that, is kind of what I'm getting at, especially at 9:45, or when was this, 9:40. Keep that in mind, especially at open, guys. We did ending up breaking it again and entering. Whether you stopped out here or not, you were able to make money on some calls over here. Nothing crazy. And then you were also, same thing, just like SPY. You broke here on the put side, entry here, and we stayed pretty much under. You could make money here. You could have hopped back in on the retest, which I actually called out in the chat, I believe. I think it was on SPY, but same thing. On the retest, we did not go over, and down we go. So that was QQQ. Tesla calls over 363.25, puts under 359. So kind of the same thing with Tesla if you look here, right? So we broke here, but what's the next candle? First of all, this tail push, it's not a perfect hammer, but it's just something that you should kind of be aware of. Okay, what's the next candle looking like? Okay, wow, it's straight down red. You probably don't want to enter on that candle. You probably want to have some awareness. Okay, what are we doing? Now if we're shooting straight up, and we're a minute into this, 2 minutes into the candle, and we're above, and it looks like we're cooking. Go ahead, go for it. But that's not what happened. We pretty much, look at this big red candle. pretty much just dropped. So obviously, you don't want to just blindly enter. Is what I'm getting at. Tesla calls. We're going to call that a loss, even though again you really shouldn't have entered. Puts to the downside, we ended up breaking, entering, making some money there. So if you took profits or maybe put a trailing stop on, you may or may not have stopped out here with the candle closing back above the trigger level. But again, you could have entered here. As you can see, we kind of danced around. We pretty much stayed underneath the level up until here where it went over. So completely understand stopping out here. You really should have stopped out here. And then kind of the same thing on the put side. Remember what I'm saying? Have awareness with the candle, right? Like, okay, we broke barely, right? So what's the next candle doing? Well, it's pretty much pushing up. So you really don't want to enter there. That's what I mean by having awareness. And then we ended up winning big on Tesla puts eventually. You just had to stop out a couple times in order to get it. And don't be discouraged, guys. This is very analytic. It's numbers, okay? It's not emotional. If you stop out twice, it's not that you have bad luck. It's just is what it is. Don't let it deter you from entering back in a play, because these plays are mostly successful. If you follow my videos, you'll see this works out way more times than not, at least three to four times, somewhere around there. It's working out. So, and as you can see here, that's exactly what happened. You broke here, entered here, and you rode that down for big money, and you made back all your money and then some from stopping out. So that's Tesla. Microsoft. We had calls over 330. I didn't prepare this one, so I'm just going to do it live. I thought I did. 330.150 puts under 328.50. So this is kind of annoying. Sorry, I don't have the proper charger with me. So 331.50 would have been the call entry. So that's somewhere around about there. So let's see. Okay, so that was actually pre-market. I should have probably bumped that up a little bit. So yes, this one would have been a loss on this one because you would have entered here on this candle and stopped out on this candle. Again, you were still over the play, but you should have that's a huge red candle. I would assume you would have stopped out. Worst case scenario, you're stopping out here. And again, you're entering back on this candle here. If it kind of dances around like this, go ahead and stay in it. Or worst case scenario, if you don't stay in it, you stop out, that's fine. Re-enter. You don't want to miss these plays because as you can see, boom, we're breaking here and we're cooking, okay? And then to the, I'm sorry, that's not to the downside. To the downside over here, whoa, easy with the lines. 338.50. Let me delete this one. 328.50. And then you had a small win on. Would you have a entry here? And this is again. So we trigger here for puts. Right. What's the next candle doing? It goes straight up. So you don't want to really enter on that candle. Okay, here we go. We break here on the next 5-minute candle, right? Boom. Okay. Entering on this candle, it stays below the trigger level, and you had minimal gains, maybe 10%, something like that, on Microsoft. So nothing crazy on Microsoft. you stopped out here, stopped out maybe here, had a nice win though over here and a small win over here. Overall, you should have won on Microsoft. KWEB, calls over 31. So this is a new one I've been playing with. I'll monitor it. It wasn't anything great. We lost here. And again, kind of the same thing, right? So trigger here, next candle, you're just pushing straight down, and you're stopping out here. Again, worst case scenario, you're stopping out here. You don't skillfully wait, as some of our members say. Stop out, protect yourself, make your money back on the next play. And then same deal on this one. You really should have never entered, these big green candles, right? So you trigger, what's the next candle? This one's a little bit understandable, but we're going to call KWEB a loss on this one. Should we have played the put side? No. So good thing I didn't call it. Meta calls over 3. What did I say? Was it 315? Meta calls over 317. Puts under 313. So here's Meta calls over. Why do I have that there? 317 it needs to be at. 317 for calls. So there's 317. Close enough. Meta was a small win. Nothing crazy. I mean, well, actually, no, because it broke here. Meta looks like a loss, actually, on the call side, at least. So you had you triggered here. Again, I hate these opening plays. Sometimes they work out great, but if you look at how many of our losses are in the first 10 or 15 minutes, it's something to. You just have to be very careful with these. So these opening plays, first 15 minutes, be extra cautious is what I'm getting at. So you have a huge green candle on open. And then another huge green candle. I mean, did it break the trigger level? Yes. Am I going to count this as a loss? Yes. But, use some awareness here. So you're entering here on this candle. You're entering here on this candle. And then you're cutting your losses on this candle. And then the same thing here. So it rebroke the trigger level, right? Okay, what's going on with the next candle? It's another huge red candle. You're either stopping out with if you jump the gun with super small losses, or just having a little bit more awareness and saying, okay, what's going on with this play? And not even entering the play. But I'm going to call that a loss on the Meta call side. Now, on the put side, we did have a win because we had a calls on 313. So nothing broke over here. We held support pretty much until here. End of the day, entering, again, I don't love these big red candles, but it was a huge sell-off at the end of the day. So trigger here, entry here, and then you've got your profits, right? And then a little kind of retested, not really, and profits. Meta was, I guess, a draw. You lost on the call side up there, but you won on the put side, and you really should have won overall. If you're taking a small loss here on Meta and the puts, if you're using a trail and stop here, that's a bigger win than it is a loss. Carvana, we had calls over. I should have short this. I should have thrown out a put play as well. We would have caked. Calls over 52.50, and our puts would have been somewhere around here. we would have caked on Carvana. I'm going to play it again on Monday on both sides. And then TUP, last one, Lotto, both Carvana and TUP were Lotto plays. So let's just zoom a little bit so we can see. And again, this is a Lotto play, so it doesn't really move in the same way that like a SPY or a QQQ or a Microsoft or an Apple would move. So you kind of need to take that into consideration. But we had puts under 515. We actually triggered here, closed at 515. Entry here, and profits, it never went back over. You could have also got back in on the retest here. Could have got back in on the retest here. And then if you're not at a play by now, you're stopping out here. This could have went to the moon. Who knows? Doesn't look like it triggered. Yeah, I guess it did, but again, you're keeping that awareness, right? So when you see, and you'll see this all the time, it's kind of a longer red candle and then a green candle, the opposite right behind it. So, really we want to see something like this, right? We want to see it break here, and then we want to enter, here. It's like clearly under, right? And then it goes back up and it retests, but it never goes back over. So you could have entered anywhere here on the retest after it's holding it under and made money into close. Overall, a pretty decent win overall on TUP. So those were our plays for our watch list. Overall, it was another winning day. It wasn't one of our best days by far. A little bit above average, I would say, overall. But we did have the losses on KWEB, the loss on the Meta call side. We won on the put sides. And then we had the early losses on QQQ. And I think we had one on Microsoft as well. And then we had big wins on SMCI. We had big wins on SPY. Both we won on SPY calls and SPY puts. We won on, I think, Microsoft, small win on Microsoft puts. So overall, decent day. And we also had a few alerts that we called out. I think just maybe two. And both of those won. All in all, good day for a Friday. So that's all I got. Hopefully you guys are starting to get a hang of how to play the watch list. And I really want you to be careful in the first 15 minutes. And I really want you to be careful on entering on large candles. And I really want you to be careful when you're entering on a candle that is, where was it? Like on QQQ, where you had this big green run up, right? And then you got your break, right? Okay, it technically did break, closed at 377.20, but then we opened here at 377.22 and then dropped, so you have to have awareness as to where you're entering, and so if it's dropping, wait and see what happens. Is it dancing around a little bit? Okay, you can enter then. Is it dropping like a rock like this? Don't fucking enter. So keep that in mind. Try to work that into your trading, and let's keep progressing here. I'm feeling good about this watch list. I'm feeling good about even days like this where it's just a little bit above an average day, you still should have made money. And we're keeping our losses small. And so I'm excited about this. It's all about you guys getting the hang of it. Once you get the hang of it, and it really shouldn't take too long, maybe a week, 2 weeks. Once you get the hang of it, it's game over. You're gonna be making some money on this. So thanks for joining, guys. I appreciate your time. Hope everyone has a good weekend, and let's do it again next Monday. Thanks, guys. Oh, like and subscribe, I guess, on YouTube. I'm trying to build up this channel. This video shit isn't my forte. I'm in the charts. I think I'm a pretty good teacher. I'm not into the fucking the videos and the YouTube. This is all something I'm just starting with. So if you guys can like and subscribe, I'll get better at it. I promise. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Have a good one.